Two other bodies were found inside the area.
Grim news from Lac Mégantic. Officials confirm 3 people died in a train explosion there, and more bodies may still be in the rubble. The Prime Minister has promised a full investigation, trying to figure out how the train went off the rails, causing its crude oil-filled cars to blow up and spark a massive fire.
In the news now, a dangerous derailment in North Dakota, sending flames and thick plumes of black smoke skyward after a train hauling oil explodes.
Investigators have made their way to the scene of that train disaster in West Virginia that sent a massive fireball into the sky. It is still smoldering tonight, and though environmental experts now say they don't believe any oil spilled into nearby rivers, this accident is raising plenty of new questions about all the dangerous cargo moving across this country.
You could look at a modern Western life, and increasingly a modern human life in almost every corner of the globe, and say that we've really evolved into machines for the consumption of fossil fuel. Pretty much everything we do in the course of a day requires burning coal or oil or gas.
Okay, so I'm Jeremy Griffin, environmental activist from Southwest Philadelphia, student at Kutztown University. On campus, as of Kutztown, I'm a part of the Environmental Action Club. I'm a part of the Geography Society. I'm a part of 350 Philly back in Philadelphia. I'm a part of Edge Philly, which is another environmental group. 350 Philly is a chapter of 350.org. It's an independent chapter of 350.org. 350.org is an organization which is basically trying to keep the carbon on our planet back down to 350 parts per million. Right now we are over 400 parts per million. It's very unhealthy for our planet. The organization got started by someone I really look up to named Bill McKibben, who really helped me become the environmentalist and even the person I am today. So, stop oil trains. Okay. So, first we have to start with fracking, and you can never talk about oil trains without first talking about fracking.
So we are getting to a particular moment in our economy where the oil industry has run out, or starting to run out, of the easy to access supply of crude oil, right? So we're at a time when big oil has extracted a lot of the traditional sources of oil reserves that have supplied the kind of fuel source for the industrial growth economy that we live in for the past 150 years. What's happened now is that because of this, the industry has turned to more extreme forms of oil in order to meet this global demand, or perceived global demand, for their product.
So from 2008 to 2013, you know what I mean? This is when we start getting this boom of all the fracked oil that's gonna get sent everywhere through these rails. You know, in 2008, we had about 9,500 cars of crude oil getting sent everywhere from North Dakota and different places like that. So to 2013, we have 400,000 cars.
What does that mean, and what do I mean by extreme oil? What I'm talking about is it's more toxic, it's more energy intensive to extract, to transport, and to refine, and has an even harsher impact on communities all along the way. From the clear cutting of boreal forests to strip mine for Canadian tar sands, the largest industrial project on Earth, to the kind of ravage of the land in North Dakota, where the fracking boom has created these incredible environmentalisms through the practice of hydraulic fracturing for shale oil, to the impact of this more volatile, dangerous oil rolling through communities on mile-long what we saw in Lac Mégantic back in 2013 with 47 people being killed in a massive oil by rail explosion. And yet the oil industry continuing to push as hard as they can to get more of this product out of the ground onto the rails and through communities so that they can refine it and or export it. And we're also at a moment where the urgency around climate change is higher than it's ever been. And the demand for oil domestically has been actually in decline. So what we see is an industry that's hell-bent on extracting as much oil as possible, regardless of the social and environmental price, regardless of the price, to maximize their own profit at the expense of the future of our planet.
And getting it off of a train like this is new. So that's when we came in. You know what I mean? Different trains are exploding, different cars are exploding. We need activists to stop this stuff.
My name is Angela Vogel. I'm 35. I live in Philadelphia. I had been involved in all sorts of different kinds of volunteering and political campaigns and that sort of thing throughout my life. And I've done everything from, canvassing and volunteering for electoral campaigns to very arrestable actions. So there's the things that I have notoriety for, like doing a banner drop at an NFL stadium to protest, to push Bank of America to divest from Dominion Energy, is, one that I gained a lot of notoriety from. But honestly, I wake up a lot of mornings and wonder what I'm doing. I had this great corporate career for a little while where I was making good money, was really good at my job, potentially could be making a lot of money right now. And instead, I'm 35 and moderately employed. To sort of wrap up the negative and move it into the positive, this stuff is really hard, and there's a lot of things against us, especially if you're willing to criticize the people that are supposed to be on our side of the line, like some of the environmental nonprofits. But, there is that sense that I've got to be doing the right thing. Sometimes if you're getting pushed around more, then you even more know you're doing the right thing, because if you weren't being effective, then nobody pays attention to you, right?
Whenever I'm out here with the oil trains, looking at them, tracking them, counting how many are on the tracks, I'm always thinking about years later how it's going to be when there's going to be no oil trains. And this is just going to be a memory in the past of fossil fuel extraction. And hopefully we can put these things in the museums. And yeah, that's one of my favorite things, looking into the future while you're looking down the track.
It's the people around me that will, your call and your request kind of made my day look up. I'm interesting enough to want to talk to you about this. That must mean somebody's noticing what I'm doing, and maybe it's inspiring someone else to do more. But I think most of us are more motivated by human life, right? So it's less about what we're doing to the planet and more about whether or not humans will be able to continue to live on the planet.
It's a matter of collective survival. So I don't really see it having a choice in doing this work. And I also see it as being a tremendous challenge. No one's pretending, we're taking the most powerful industry on earth. They have more money and more influence, more power than many governments combined. Right? And yet, what we have seen time and time again is that grassroots people power can win. And on the issue of oil, it's really not something many people want. Folks learn about the issue and are pretty, regardless of political affiliation, most folks are really not in favor of taking on all this risk at what reward, and so we've actually found that in a number of cases where we've organized opposition to proposed oil train projects, we've been able to win in a lot of those cases because community power can overcome the power of the fossil fuel money.
So that's why I love Stop Oil Trains. This is why I love the movement. This is why I love environmentalism. It's a people, our planet, against their money. It's us. It's us.
I think the climate movement, the fracking movement are converging, but I don't think that's all. I think that there's something really happening in America right now that I've been watching, which is progress. Starting from everyone's homes being invaded in so many places by the fracking industry. And then a lot of young people understanding that the climate was a huge problem. And then the banking crisis and realizing 8 years after the most progressive president of our lifetimes that we didn't get the change that we needed. That incrementalism has failed. It's failed on the climate. It's failed economically. What we have to do is transform America. And I think that all of these movements are coming together in that incredible way. Because America right now is a nation of oligarchs and movements. Those oligarchs, own I think it's something like a tiny fraction of the public, like 1/10 of 1% owns as much as half of the country. It's insane what's happened. And this is not just in America, it's worldwide. So we have to remain nonviolent, we have to remain organized, we have to remain calm and cool and collected, and we have to focus on the principles that are sustainable. That's what my film is about, all the things climate can't change: courage, creativity, innovation, love, community, human rights, democracy, resilience. These are the things that we have to focus on as we go forward, because if we don't, we're going to make the calamity much worse.
When we think about it being a lifestyle, to me it changes the way we approach it. Rather than just saying, okay, I'm going to go check out Greenpeace or Sierra Club or whoever and see how I can volunteer. And moving forward without a lot of thought. I encourage people to think about what you like to do, what makes you happy, what makes you smile, what you enjoy doing. Maybe you like to cook, maybe you like to make videos, maybe you like to do public speaking, whatever it is, think about what that is and find a way to apply it to this.
I'm sure that there will be no oil trains because I'm sure of the people behind the movement against them. I'm sure of the movement building, the organizing, the activism that the environmental movement and other movements have come together, indigenous communities, what these trains are doing, what fracking is doing, what fossil fuels is doing to our communities, to our economic systems, and I'm sure that we will find a way to completely shut them down and to stop them. So that's how I'm sure of the future, and because I'm sure of myself, and I'm sure of my friends in activism, I'm sure we can shut it down. Sure of it.